Downtown Reno, Nevada isn't just a place to live or visit. It's a dynamic blend of old school charm and modern vibrancy, making it one of the most underrated urban experiences in all of the US. It's one of those places that's surprisingly cool and full of life, even if it's not the first city you think of. Nestled between the majestic Sierra Mountains that are just right over there and the breathtaking desert landscapes, Downtown Reno offers a unique mix of entertainment, culture, and living options that few cities can match. But beneath its glittering and historic architecture, Downtown Reno is at a crossroads with all the changes happening, and you might wonder, will Reno keep its unique vibe, or is it at the risk of losing what makes it special? So whether you're thinking about visiting or living here, there's a lot to consider. So today we're taking things outside on the road and for the next few weeks so we can show you Reno and Northern Nevada and what it's all about while we're outside. So let's go check it out and let's see all things Reno, Nevada. And on a total lucky day, we're right here by the Reno Arch. Hot August nights is happening and you can see all the fun stuff that's going on right here in the middle of the day. Hey, if you're enjoying the content that we're putting out there, by all means, please subscribe to the channel. We put out great content every week about all things living in and visiting Reno, Nevada. All right, so today, again, we took it outside. We want to show you guys about downtown since I get a lot of feedback and comments about downtown. You can see we're right in the heart of it. We're right by the Reno Arch. And if we were to walk around the side of this building, this is the Whitney Peak Hotel. The El Dorado is right behind Sydney. And as you go this direction, which is south down or downtown, you'll get more into the heart of downtown. But as we move this way, you can see just over here, this used to be a big hotel up there and is now the Montage. So if you were someone who was thinking about living in downtown, there's the Montage, the Palladio. I'm gonna bring Sydney on here in a little bit. We're gonna talk about some of the places that you can live. But when you're on Virginia Street, it goes north and south. But if we were to go down to that stop sign down there that you can see, that is just a south-facing street. It just goes to the south and the street on the other side just goes north. So again, for people that are living down here, there's lots of good access. And again, if we go just even a few more streets on the other side, and the further we go that way towards Midtown, there's gonna be lots of good restaurants, lots of good places to eat. And as of right now, we just on a total fluke happened to come down here while Hot August nights was going on. But we're gonna walk you down more by the Montage so you can get a better idea of what it looks like one street over. Now move one street over. This is Sierra Street that comes towards us. The Freeway 80 is just up that direction. You got the El Dorado parking garage. That's the Silver Legacy, which is one of the biggest hotels in town. But if we turn just as we're going down Sierra Street, this right here used to be a big hotel. At one point, I think it was not the El Dorado, it was like the Sundowner or something along those lines. And what they did, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, they started converting it. So if you wanted to look or live in a building like this, one, you have to be careful with the HOA fees. Sometimes they get a little bit different based upon the size of the unit. They have anything from studio apartments, anything to 2 and 3 bedroom units. There's a pool way up there. It's actually really, really awesome. And again, if you just go a mile or two in either direction, there's lots of amenities. There's not tons of like grocery shopping and things like that in downtown. But even if you just turn right here to the side, this in the wintertime becomes the ice skating rink. So there's activities and things that happens all the time in this part of town. But again, if we walk a little bit further down and we go this direction, there's gonna be more hotels, more living. The Palladio is down that way. And so for people that wanna be downtown, it's changed a lot. Everyone, I think, thinks of it as just gambling and casinos and people coming here from other places. But in all honesty, there's always events and things going on. There's always activities going on. And it's a place you can come now and do a lot more fun things than at least when I first moved here, when it was just strictly casinos and gaming. All right, so the building that you see right there, that high-rise building, that's on West 2nd Street. That's something that's probably a little on the lower price points than you'll see in the Montage or the Palladio. But of course, my daughter's helping me out today and she's got the camera, and you guys have met her. She's a real estate agent as well. But right there across the street is a bar called The Library that she says that way when you're in college and you go in the university just north of downtown, you can tell your parents you went to the library, even if you were here and not the one up at school. So let's walk this way. Keep it running, Sid. Just keep it running. So let's walk this way. That's West 2nd Street. We're back now over onto Sierra Street. And at Sierra Street, now you're kind of in the heart of downtown. You have the Cal Neva Hotel, the Virginian, some of the older stuff that's been here. Let's cross the street, Sid. Watch the step. And as you're coming through downtown, the further you get this way, the closer you're getting to the Truckee River. So we're gonna show you that here shortly in a minute, but all this place is a lot more popping and things going on at night. We're gonna walk down that way here in a little bit too, and the baseball stadium is down that way, but you can see that they've really kind of cleaned it up. It's been a lot different down here as far as that stuff goes. And there are a couple of smaller hotels and things, but the ones we always mention are the big hotels, just like the condo or the high-rise buildings we talk about are the older properties that we keep mentioning. Now as we're getting really close to downtown, you see we have the Reno Tahoe Visitor Center, a post office. Right on the other side here is the Silver Peak Restaurant. Let's go take a look at that. It's a great place to eat as far as if you're in downtown, and the movie theater, the Riverside Complex, is just right across the street. So this is a spot where even as locals, we come down here quite a bit. Right over there, we did a video about this a year plus ago, Reno Arch, and then there's a restaurant right next door to that. So these are starting to be places that people will come if you live here. More the main downtown is more for visitors and things on those lines. But again, as soon as we cross the bridge right there, we are literally about a 60-second walk to the Truckee River. So we're gonna take you there next. We're gonna show you the bridge that crosses over. And pretty soon, another couple of blocks is kind of where Midtown and downtown come together. But it's where the change starts to happen to more of an eclectic, older, sort of residential area. As soon as you get off the main drag, then it does downtown, where downtown is much more for people that are coming here from somewhere else. All right, so here we're in downtown, just by the river. I wanted to bring Sydney on, since we were doing a little bit of research, and people are always asking about what it's like to live downtown and what it might cost to be downtown. So again, anywhere between a studio versus multi-bedroom units. So what did you find out? What can you tell the people?
Well, it kind of depends. There are obviously certain condo rentals down here that will run anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000-ish a month. You can also purchase some condos in certain buildings downtown that will run anywhere from the mid 400s up to about $900,000. So it kind of just depends on what you're looking for, what you want, what you're used to. And also, different buildings will have different HOA costs monthly. They will vary also depending on your unit size.
Yeah, so it depends on, like, for example, I know the Montage and the Palladio are a little more modern than, say, Arlington Tower, which is kind of the original OG downtown building. West 2nd Street, that used to be a casino, was converted, so those rooms aren't quite as big as some of the others. And again, some of these buildings depend on how high up you are, or depending if you faced on the west side of the building versus the east side of the building, you're gonna get completely different views as far as mountain views go. And of course, if you face that west side, it's gonna be a whole hell of a lot hotter than if you're on the other side. So I've seen that happen with different units, but again, depending on how high up you go, usually they're more expensive, right? The higher they go.
Definitely.
And so yeah, it just depends on what you're looking for down here, but there are plenty of options. And the big downside though to downtown, honestly, was the amenities. If you're looking for grocery stores or those kind of things. But in reality, if you just go a couple blocks, mile to the west off of Keystone, everything you're gonna need is kind of in that area. So hopefully you can find it. And if you have specific interest in what your needs are downtown, how do they find us?
You can call us directly, or you can go to thelessingerteam.com. We have a new website.
Yes, that's pretty awesome. And you can do home searches and things from there, get the map views, and find out all things downtown. It's becoming a more popular area. And I think as you see from here, and when you're walking around downtown, especially during the daytime, it's gotten a whole lot better than it used to be back in the day. I know, like I said, it used to just be kind of an old gambling town. I think people need to understand that it's a lot better than we thought.
We're upgrading.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll tell you more about that meets your specific needs. So if you're someone who's thinking about moving to Reno, Nevada, click on the link in the description down below that gives you our buyer's guide that gets you started on your journey and your process if you're thinking about moving to Northern Nevada. All right, so we're on what is called the Riverwalk. Normally, of course, we're in the middle of the day right now. There'd be a lot more people and things down here. And again, the river is right there. As you look out in the distance, you can see, maybe you can see the sign, the Eddy. It's a cool little bar. Lots of fun things going on there all the time. And it is right there near where some of these big buildings that you see are, where it's our judicial courthouses, the municipal court. So if you end up for court for some reason, usually you're going to be in downtown Reno. One of the oldest school churches in all of Reno is right there. I know plenty of people that are much older than me. They got married in that church. They've kind of given it a facelift and those kind of things. So it's getting cool. And we're walking back towards Virginia Street. So we were we were a block or so over on the next road. And now we're walking back towards Virginia Street. We're gonna go a little further south, and then we're gonna cut across. We're gonna show you things like the bowling stadium. We're gonna show you the baseball fields. We're gonna show you the Pioneer Theater. So there's some other cool things downtown that we're gonna show you. So let's go take a look. All right, so as we're heading back towards Virginia Street, you can see the new bridge that got put up a few years ago. Believe it or not, the water that looks shallow now actually flooded. And that bridge that was really old finally went down. They put that new bridge up a few years ago. And then here's where the grill restaurant is. And this is where that really cool part of the downtown that they're starting to keep working further to the west, where they've made this an area that people want to come to now. where before it was just sort of, like I said, an area that people didn't want to be around. And I feel like we've done a great job with our downtown. In the distance, you can see the Renaissance Hotel. That's another street over as well that I can't remember what it used to be called, but it's all been redone. So there's a lot of really good modern options as far as places to stay downtown. Once you get past here, another block or two to the south, you really are hitting Midtown, which we'll go ahead and do a video about that for next week. But for now, you can see the river, when it rolls through here, it is pretty massive. And there, like I said, there have been times where we're standing shooting this video, the water has been this high. So, you know, it can happen. It's crazy how much that river fluctuates up and down. But this time of year, typically if it's pretty low, that means we didn't have a great winter last year. And so, like I said, they've been doing a great job of making it a much more fun place to come. All right, so you can see the big gold dome in the background that looks actually pretty low. That is the Pioneer Theater. So if you're someone who wants to come downtown, watch a theater performance, it's actually kind of sunk in underground. So when we walk over there and get a lot closer, you'll see you sort of walk in the main level and it drops. But it's got a really cool gold roof, and again, it's just on the other side of the new bridge. It's been downtown for just a few years. So as we're getting further south, behind you is this really cool building where the Wild River Grill is. Like I said, the river's running right there because that's where our Truckee River is. But then as you loop out, the building right here, this was an old, if I remember right, it was the post office, and now it's turned into a big shopping building. There's stuff downstairs in the basement that's really cool. If you go downstairs, you can see our old Washoe courthouse. And as you go further down, there's a newer building as far as that stuff goes. But it's funny, that old, where it says Chase, that high-rise building, way a long time ago when I first lived here, that was a US Bank building, and actually was Security Pacific before that. I actually worked in that building, which of course, again, right here next door to the Pioneer Theater. So you can see this area of town, especially in the evening as more events are going on, works out great. Just on the other side in the brick building over there by the Pioneer Theater, there's La Familia, which is an Italian restaurant. There's a big parking garage over there. As you go down another block or two, that's where, like you said, is sort of the end of downtown. So during the day, especially on a day like today, lots of big, gorgeous high-rise buildings, super clean down here, which has been a whole lot better. And because of hot August nights, we're not getting bothered by a lot of people today. So it's giving you guys some content and some video, especially since it's one of our first times outdoors on the street trying to make it work. We'd love to hear your feedback on how you think all this went for you and what else you might want to know that you didn't see in the video. All right, so now we're in an area, especially when it's like New Year's Eve or there's big events going on. It's a big open area to gather. We're right in the middle of a bunch of parking garages and a bunch of casinos. You can see they have the big Believe sign, the big art pieces that you have downtown. We have a cool clock tower that is right over there. And so there's lots of fun stuff. As she keeps going around, you're going to start to see a bunch of parking garages from some of the hotels that might be a little older that were here a little longer ago. And again, this is just a very busy, common area, not in the middle of the day and not when there's something going on at this time of day, but it's a lot of fun, especially for younger people, and there's activities. And like I said, New Year's Eve, this place is just packed with bodies when the pub crawls are going on. So it's just a lot of fun. They put up this cool new artwork near the river, near the new bridge, to try to make everything feel a lot more like a downtown should. You can see that big building where it says Reno at the top with the flag flying. That's kind of like right in the heart of downtown. And as Sydney is panning this video to the right, you can see the casino. That's a big high-rise building. What's funny is this luxury apartment building that is right next door to the baseball stadium was something that last time I was here wasn't there. So coming downtown is not something that I personally do all the time. Obviously, we're coming to our AAA baseball stadium. It's been there now for about 15 years. We are the AAA affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's the Reno Aces. You can see we're only a block or two right off of downtown Virginia Street. And actually, we're going to try to get you guys some better video right now because it's really actually a pretty damn cool stadium. So that's the actual shop. You can buy all your Reno Aces gear in. This is where you typically come in. We were trying to find a way to sneak into the game today or sneak in the building so we could show you guys what's here. But there's nobody around to let us do that. This is where the ticket booth is, and you can kind of see from here. We'll show you. There's a picture of where the stadium is. It's actually kind of flip-flop because we're actually standing back here versus coming the other direction. But the train tracks run right behind the big stadium scoreboard. And it's actually, like I said, it's a really cool stadium. It's a really cool thing. And what's so crazy is since the last time I was here, when Sydney turns around, all those buildings that are now apartments right across the street from the stadium, those were literally not here last time I was down here. So I don't know how quickly they got pulled up, but I have not been down here in a little while. And it's amazing how quickly things change. That's pretty much where you park for the game, where it says Ballpark Lane over there. It's crazy. Restaurants, all kinds of food and cool things right up there. So if you like baseball, this is the place to come. Well, you can see in the distance right there the Whitney Peak Hotel, and if you look closely, up really high there's two skinny tracks, and as it gets lower it gets wider. That is the climbing wall. We're gonna get a little closer view here in a minute, but that wall, if I remember right, goes 268 feet tall. I think it's like 22 stories. You are not getting me to go climbing up that wall, but it's another really cool, fun thing you can do in downtown Reno. All right, so again, we are on South Virginia right there, one street over. That big crazy looking dome, that is the National Bowling Stadium. So all kinds of cool bowling tournaments happening there. It is a massive number of lanes, so you can host parties and events and other things in there as well. And it's right here in our downtown. You see it all the time. When I fly in out of the airport, people traveling with their bowling balls to come see these bowling tournaments, I guess is what you would call it. But it's a really cool place if you've never been inside and you like to bowl. All right, so just next door to the Reno Bowling Stadium, we have the Reno Event Center. We used to have a G League basketball team that used to play in there that was affiliated with the NBA. But there's concerts and other events that happen in that center. And again, there's parking that we just came from right behind us. So it's another nice event space that we have here in our downtown, as now we're heading towards 80 on University Way, just one side east of South Virginia Street. All right, as of right now, we're headed south, one street to the west of South Virginia Street. You're seeing the Silver Legacy Hotel. I think we showed it to you earlier from the other side. The El Dorado with a big flag up above. This is the tram that goes across for the parking lot for the Circus Circuit, which is basically just here to our left. Not a place I've been in any time recently, but this runs right under this walkway that combines the two hotels together. All the parking, valet parking, everything's there on your right side. We've had hosted lots of events in there over the years, but they do all these overhead things to try to keep people from having to cross over on the streets. All right, so we are right now on Liberty in South Virginia. The Discovery Museum was right behind us. And really right now, when we turn to the left, everything's gonna be Midtown. And when you turn to the right, everything is pretty much downtown. So we're gonna take a quick left just kind of so you can see where the turning point is. And then now, as you go into this part of town, straight through, again, this will take you all the way to Carson City. You go right through all of Reno, Midtown, all of it. This is where things start to change, and now it goes from high-rise buildings into more lower-level, redone area of town. If you're someone who's been enjoying the kind of content we're putting out there, check out this video we did about all the best neighborhoods so you can find out more about what it might be like to live in Northern Nevada.